going to go over the training templates for lineman special strength for the off season. To give you guys some context, this is going to be maxed effort upper. We have 4 different training templates that we're going to go over. This one, we're going to utilize the means that it's the bench press. So it's going to start off, and it starts off in linear order. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And we'll go through each one on this first one. So the first one, we're going to do sled drags. That's nothing specific. We're just going to warm up, raise the body temperature, increase heart rate. Hopefully we get somewhere between zone 1, zone 2 on a heart rate monitor. Then we're going to go right into the shoulder joint with a quadrupedal. That's essentially going to be on all 4s. And then the working arm, you're actually going to do the controlled articular rotation with. We're going to do that squeezing a weight clip for 2 to 3 reps. This is going to train the nervous system to understand how much active joint space the shoulder possesses and how to move through that outermost joint workspace. Then we're going to target the connective tissue of the shoulder joint capsule utilizing band resistance. We're going to use red west side mini bands. It's going to be 40 seconds. So this isn't going to be reps, but 40 seconds because the target tissue is connective tissue. This is going to train the connective tissue load-bearing capacity of the shoulder joint and rotator cuff, which means the ability to absorb an eccentrically control force, go back through the same shoulder joint car. Then we're going to do a supinated grip. That's palms this way, grip pull down for the lats. You're going to use a moderate resistance for 13 to 18 reps. This is not to failure. You're just going to find tension in the lats, train that. Then we're going to move to a flat bench. Olin has a fat bar, so he's going to utilize a fat bar, same thing. Moderate resistance, 13 to 18 reps. And then, and this is just going to be to warm up and refine mechanics of the press. The skill thing that we're going to push is going to be these ramping punch effort level. It's going to go from 30, this should be 60, and then 90. And this is a low to moderate learning intensity. This is going to be where the lineman practices with the nervous system, a component of lineman special strength. Olin, did you want to go ahead and kind of give more context to this?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have a video if you don't know what a tunch punch is, but it's just a pass pro punch on any bag. You can put it on a wall. If you have a heavy bag, you can use a heavy bag, but you'll just be working, like John said there, using the tissue that you just warmed up. And the 30%, you just start them low level, watch their skill, watch how they're using that tissue. You work them to 90%, and eventually, as you'll see later on here, we'll use that in a max effort fashion.
Perfect. Yeah. So essentially, to put more context to that, we're going to go through the shoulder joint, then we're going to go through all this tissue, and then they're going to try to use the shoulder joint and this tissue in the tunch punch. That's why it's at a low to moderate learning intensity. After that, we're going to get back to resistance training, where we're going to try to acclimate the nervous system. So there's going to be no grinding repetitions in this. You're going to use a heavy weight, 4 to 7, not to failure. So no grinding repetitions, just acclimate your CNS to load to start to signal it that there's going to be a max effort coming. Do one more set of the lat pull downs so that you can find your lats, lock your lats in that bench press. Then we're going to do max effort barbell bench press, flat press. At Olin's, this is going to be a fat bar, so you'll probably see videos of a fat bar being done. The resistance on that, we're going to try to work up to a 1 rep max. So kind of, we want the minimal amount of sets, but we want to actually push the nervous system to generate the maximal amount of force that the nervous system currently has. Right after that max effort bench press, we're going to go right back to practicing with the nervous system. So we just trained the nervous system at maximal momentary effort. Now we're going to practice with the nervous system. Owen, and this one's correct. Yeah. So you can see 30, 60, 100%. Do you want to add to this? Anything from the prior one?
Just for anybody after they do the bench press, don't overcoach this. Just get him going. It shouldn't take longer than, John can correct me, but 4 to 5 seconds for him to get to 100%. Have him throw 1 or 2 punches, just using the tissue and, using his nervous system that he just prepared for this, and just trying to get him to use all of that in 1 or 2 hard punches.
Perfect. Okay, after that, we're going to go to the barbell pen lay row. We're going to use moderately heavy resistance. We're going to, and this is to train the backside. we're going to do an 8 to 12 rep range, right? So we're going to train against moderately heavy weight to increase strength and to muscular failure to elicit muscular hypertrophy, which is the increase of muscle mass. Anytime you see that that two failure, we're trying to increase muscle mass. So we're trying to increase muscle mass on the backside. Then we're going to do the standing camber bar behind the back shrugs. And so you can see we're targeting the upper back and the back here. Then we're going to do another set. So then we're going to move this guy up to heavyweight. This should say heavyweight, but it says moderately heavy. And they're going to do a 4 to 7 to failure. So you can see we're targeting fast twitch muscle fibers on the backside. After that, we're going to move into the upper extremities. We're going to do a close grip bench press to a board. We're going to add red bands, which is west side mini band resistance. They're going to utilize this set to warm up the mechanics of the press. Then we're going to do the elbow flexors, which is a standing cure row. What this now allows us to do, this is a modified form of a standing hammer curl, because we're trying to get as much load against the nervous system as possible. So it's kind of a curl plus row. It's in the exercise library. And that's going to train the elbow. That's going to warm up the elbow flexors and train to failure to try to elicit muscle mass there within that elbow. We want to put muscle mass there so that there's more mass when the arm hits this way, that you have that cushion. Then we're going to do some elbow joint cars, squeezing a weight clip. This is at a low intensity. This is just going to create afferent efferent information flow from the elbow joint workspace to the CNS. That way, the nervous system starts to really understand what the elbow joint is. We're going to do that for time, 40 seconds. After that, now we're going to do the repeated efforts for the triceps. This is where we're going to utilize this set to train the elbow extensors to not just increase strength, but also to failure for muscle mass. It's going to be at different different board heights. Olin, do you want to kind of give more context to that?
Yeah, anybody doing this, you can obviously Google death by triceps, and there'll be some videos on there. And I'm sure eventually we'll have on our website a video of guys doing it, but it just works every part of your tricep. And John can obviously explain anatomy way better than I can. But like John said, it's just different heights, and you'll go to failure. You pick a weight that you want to fail with on the 6th board. That 4th or 5th rep will be your failing set. So you're just going to get a lot of work there, a little more hypertrophy and a little more strength endurance.
Perfect. Yeah. And it's a variation. You guys don't have to get 5 reps each time, right? Like if they're failing, you want them to get through all those boards.
Yeah. Sometimes mid-set, we'll switch it to just do 2 reps, do 3 reps, whatever you think they can get. They want to get to that 6th board because it's a different part of your tricep. And like everyone knows who trains linemen, you have to be able to punch at all those levels of your arms.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. After that, we're going to go back to the standing cure rows, and we're going to go 4 to 7 heavy to failure. This is something we'll put in the exercise library. Quadrupedal band tension, overspeed eccentric catches for the pec in multiple zones. It's a lot of words. What we have to do is we have to start to train the connective tissue to be able to bear load within the chest and the pec. Once again, that's the ability to absorb and eccentrically, eccentric means lengthen, be able to catch that so that we start to mitigate pec tissue injuries, pec tears, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing that we're going to do is a max effort. So notice not ramping, but a max effort tunch punch. And this is, once again, practicing with the nervous system, but now trying to compress it. Did you want to give more context to this one?
Yeah, just don't overthink this. Put your lineman in a right or left-handed stance and cue him to punch. And you want to see if he can use, when you ramped him, can he still do that 100% effort without the ramp, which is what he's going to need on the field. So now you've trained him through all the exercises. He should be ready to throw the hardest punch he can. Again, don't overcoach it. Know that as weeks go on, he'll get better at it.
Yeah, perfect. That's good advice. Okay, so this is training template number 1. We have 4 templates that we're going to use this off season. So I'm going to get into the next one. You'll see a lot of repetition stuff or repeated things that we're doing, right? In this one, you can see the title tells you what we're training. We're going to do max effort upper for the bench press. We're going to do a dynamic effort and repeated effort for the elbow extensors. So one of the things here for people that have a background in the West Side system or the conjugate sequencing system, that's a system that's set up specifically for the power lifter, not the lineman. And what we've done is we've said that, listen, not only is the bench press important for the lineman, but is also elbow extension. And so we want to be able to train elbow extension at dynamic efforts, max efforts, and repeated efforts. And so this is combining the max effort bench press with a dynamic effort and repeated effort. So the warm up is the same. You're going to do something to warm up the body, try to get it into heart rate zone 1 or 2 to raise body temperature. Going to go through the shoulder joint capsule, back through the shoulder. You can see it's going to be the same quote unquote warm up sets here. The same ramping tunch punch is here. Then the same bench press with no grinding reps, same lat pull down, same bench press, same ramping. This is where it changes or deviates from the first one. Now we have dynamic effort, which is speed, triceps, easy curl, bar, floor, skull crushers to the chin. We'll put this video up. They'll be on the floor so that they can generate as much force as they can, because we're trying to push as much load as we can. The red resistance band will be under them. They'll be in this position. They're going to come down to their chin and drive up. They're already going to be warmed up in elbow extensions. That's the reason why we're running this also to max effort. They'll take 50% of that max effort training weight, put red bands against it, do 3 reps at the fastest and highest attainable speed for about 5 reps. We can, if they start to slow down, maybe start to pull this, right? Because we want to train to get faster, not to get slower. So if you see them starting to actually really decelerate, just pull it. Then you can see it goes through the barbell Pendlay row, which is what we're pushing for strength and hypertrophy. Same thing with the shrugs. We get all the way back to here. You can see same thing with the standing curls, elbow joint cars. There's the death by triceps. So we're trying to get the triceps, the nervous system, to drive through elbow extension as fast as it can. Then we're going to try to put more muscle tissue onto the triceps so the nervous system can generate more force. And then we're back right through the connective tissue and then that max effort. Is there anything that you want to add to this that I missed?
The only thing I want to say, and please correct me
Yeah.
if I'm wrong here, is if the red band is too much for you, for the coaches, just you can use any band, or you don't really have to use a band if the kids are too young and they're not moving that dynamic effort fast enough. As John stated, speed is really the key there. So make sure they're moving fast, and if the red band is too much for them, which it is for some guys, just take it off.
Yeah, that's really good so that's really good context. This is for this training is for kind of the NFL guys. So if you're in charge of a high school kid, yeah, you're probably going to want to do what Olin said, and you probably don't even need that band tension on there. Okay, so let's move to the third training template. The third training template is going to be a max effort upper bench press, a repeated effort bench press, and then repeated effort elbow extensors. So max effort is going to increase absolute strength in the bench press. This repeated efforts in the bench press is going to increase muscle size and conditioning strength. Olin will expand on that when we get there. And then same thing with the repeated efforts. So you'll see, we won't bore you, but it's all the same, right? Some sort of warm up to raise body temperature, something to send information from the joint to the nervous system to tell it what it is, training that connective tissue that often gets injured in guys in the shoulder joint, going into the shoulder joint and doing it at a moderate intensity instead of a low intensity. Lat pull down, bench press. Here's your ramping tunch punches at a learning intensity. Back to the acclimation set of the CNS. Then we're going to go back to the lat pull downs. Here's the max effort bench press. Once again, Olin will probably use in a fat bar, but you're just trying to work up to that 1 rep max. This is the critically important set. So don't have the athlete fatigued. Like, you want them fresh going into this set and neurologically stimulated so that they can hit a new 1 rep max or close to it. Then we have that ramping. Okay, we'll give more context to this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a percentage of this training and we're going to drop it down so that we can do 4 to 7. We got a chain on here. If you don't have access to the chain, you don't have to do this. But then we're going to try to pick a weight that's heavy enough that we can fail in the 4 to 7 so that we start to hypertrophy those fast twitch muscle fibers that the lineman is going to have to use. And to give more context to this, the reason why this training template has been created this way is because Olin, this is something that you guys did where you would do your heavy one and then you would do essentially a back offset. Can you articulate why you guys were doing that and then what that training got you when you played?
Yeah, as me and you talk, John, and you explained to me that that's just a repetition method. And as John explained earlier, the conjugate system was created for power lifters who don't need as much strength endurance as football players need. So here's where you'll get your 1 rep max, which we know that max effort is the most critical for the linemen, as we've talked about many times. But now on the back end, you get your strength endurance, so for your athlete in the third and fourth quarter, he still has the endurance and the strength to use during the game. So you just work on your strength endurance here.
Perfect. Exactly. Yep. And then same thing, running with the barbell pen lay row, running with the behind the back shrugs. You can add in whatever row you want here. The reason why we do a barbell Penley row, I'll just state this, is because in the barbell setting, we can put bands over it and we can start to train it dynamically. Whereas with dumbbells, you're just not going to be able to. So that's why the means that we selected is a Penley rows, because we want to mess with the resistance to avoid the stagnation in the nervous system. And then you can see same thing, the warm up on the close grip press, warm up, but we're technically trained to failure just at a higher weight on the elbow flexors. Then we're doing the car set back to that death by triceps. And then you can see going back through the churros, then the connective tissue, and then max effort, right? So this training template is for a more advanced individual. We should technically say that. Once again, the context we're writing for is more for NFL, but you can start to scale this down, and we may do other videos on how to do that with these templates. Okay, so the last one is going to be max effort upper bench press, plus repeated effort bench press, plus dynamic effort elbow extensors. Okay, and then these are the other things down here that are getting trained as well, right? So you can see pec connective tissue, lineman special strength skill work, right? Tunch punches. These are the overspeed catches, the churros, the Penlay row, and the shrugs. So we'll go right through. It's the same warm up, right? And then that max effort bench press, you can see this guy is really not getting, we're always utilizing that. And then go into that failure set for the strength endurance, like Olin said. Then instead, what we're doing is we're going to see those dynamic effort. Once again, that easy curl bar, 4 skull crushers to the chin. We're doing that at this at 50% of whatever the max effort training weight for this was, right? If you want to know what the max effort training weight for this is, have the athlete do 1 rep on this, take 50% of that. Like Olin said, you don't have to add the mini bands. Just take 50% of that, have them start to figure out how to move 50% of that as fast as they can, so they start to train the back end of that force velocity curve. Then we're going to finish with the elbows, as you can see, connective tissue, max effort tunch punches, compressing the nervous system, right? So you can see the nomenclature where we're saying, hey, if you're doing skill work for the lineman, you're practicing with the nervous system, but in order to train the nervous system, you're going to have to do resistance training, and it's going to have to use specific methods. And those are the 4 training templates that we're going to run with to essentially try to acquire what we're trying to acquire, which is a trained lineman that is physically ready to enter training camp. Do you have anything that I missed or anything to add?
Nope. That looked good to me.
Perfect. Yeah, and all these exercises, we'll put them on the exercise library. That way, if you have a question on how to do it, you can look into the exercise library. These training templates, the max effort ones, we're providing them to everyone. And all you have to do is there's a link in this blog post where you click the link, it'll take you to all 4 PDFs. We're going to do the same thing with all the other training, but we're going to put that in the exercise library.